Okay, so when I wanted to start talking about men's mental health, obviously I'm not the typical person to do it. I'm a 5'1" blonde woman. And I wasn't actually thinking about the research that we have, the tools that we have, or who's actually talking about it because it's trendy. I was actually deciding to talk about the men in my life and the experiences and challenges that they're actually facing. So that's realistically why I'm talking about men specifically. In terms of what's out there, you'll see that there are the statistics that state that the highest death rate due to suicide is men under the age of 35, which is staggering. So 1 in 8 men in the UK are suffering with a mental health problem. Far too many suffer in silence. You've seen many of these faces on the news and in the press, and unfortunately we've lost these great men due to the inability to be able to deal with their mental health issues. So why aren't we talking? We're not talking enough. We'll talk about Me Too, we'll talk about, empowering women and doing all of that fantastic stuff, but we're not talking about this because people are reluctant to. It is a typical taboo subject. We hear the stigma around it all the time, so we've got big boys don't cry, man up, and my personal favourite, grow a pair. Hear that all the time. So yeah, that doesn't help when you're not creating that level of positivity within the messages that we're trying to deliver. It comes out with that. So it's easy, it's just talking, isn't it? No, because they're not talking, and that's what we need to be able to get to. So that's realistically why we're here tonight. We are here to challenge the status quo, and ultimately we are going to change it if we start talking. The quick fix doesn't exist. With mental health, everybody is different. It's all shapes and sizes. So we have to be innovative in how we think about that and how we approach these conversations. It takes a lot of time. So it's not just about creating a safe space, it's creating a safe culture within our organisations. Do people feel that they can come and talk to people about these problems? So creating this safe space isn't going to happen overnight. This is something that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a hell of a lot of knowledge and support behind us. And this is where my slides stick. So we often can't see men's mental health until it's too late, or when we use the term flipping our lids. The difficulty with that is that people just say, oh, crikey, are you all right, mate? It doesn't actually work in that respect. Yes, because all they're going to say to you is, yeah, I'm fine. So we need to be able to get that safe space and safe culture to be able to underpin these issues that are going on. The typical pull yourself together. To be honest with you, I quite like the slide with the cat, to be fair. So a lot of the time, men are very difficult at masking this problem because they're not so willing to talk about it, and people aren't necessarily prepared or equipped to be able to approach people to be able to talk that in the first place. So it is a gender issue. Damn right it is. Just like Me Too is a gender issue. But in terms of how men approach these subjects is very different to how women are. Apparently it's a bit more widely acceptable that women talk openly about their problems. But for men, it's not so easy. So what can we do? I've got a picture of a small child here, which is strange because I believe that mental health should actually be discussed at a much younger age now. We are living in a world where it's difficult to talk, and whilst we do have helplines and there's people that are out there that can support, we're not talking enough about it, and until we make it a cultural norm, it's not going to change those opinions. So equipping our line managers seems to be quite a theme for the evening, and ultimately that's really where we need to be. We need to equip our line managers to tell those telltale signs and what's going on within our organisations. They are on the front line, they know our people. If we're not knowing our people, those are the guys to go to get the information. So we need to listen to each other, we need to open that ability to actively listen. It sounds like a very simple thing, but we don't do enough of that either. So we offer support via our employment assistance programs. There might be a list of directories or helplines or things like that that we can utilise. But there are things that we can do for free within our organisations to actually support people more effectively. And finally, this is for everybody who is suffering with a mental health condition, and it doesn't matter if you're male, female or other. I would like to offer any support that I can personally. If I can, I'm here to listen, but this is dedicated to those men in my life that are going through a really difficult time right now. So thank you very much for listening.